We'll get started here. It looks like we got 1 minute left, and
Okay, great.
we'll get started. Have you started taking the Sizzle Silver?
Yes,
you
I
see
have. Yeah, it's great.
Can you see that there?
Yeah, Sizzle Silver. Yeah, and you've
Yeah.
got the rub too.
Hmm?
The rub. What would you call it? It's not really a lotion.
serum?
It's a gel. Yeah, the serum.
The serum? No, I haven't received mine yet. I ordered it, but I waited till December to place my order.
Okay, right.
Yeah, but I
Great.
did order. I did order some of the M Brothers beard oil.
Yes.
And you know what? I like
Yes.
it. I like it. Yeah, I've been, it
Been
kind
using
of
it.
it gives the hair, the beard hair, a good feeling. So, well, welcome everyone. My name is Dr. Kurt Fisnick, and I got my co-host Katie on the call with me. And we're here today. We're gonna do a little call on the Healthy Host Pack. It's a holiday pack that Sizzle's put together. And what products were in there again, Katie?
So we've got Encompass 360, which I've got here. We've got Influence, see here, and we've got Body Shield.
All right, three great products. I take them every day, and so I'll give my reasons for why I take them when we're doing our discussion on it. But Katie, today's world, if you're not doing something to boost your immunity,
yeah,
boy, you're missing out. We've just kind of gotten beyond the stretch of the pandemic that we had.
yeah.
And now, we're starting to see some other things happening over here. We're starting to see some respiratory challenges.
Yeah.
We're starting to see some cardiovascular challenges, and they're warning us. They're saying that the next pandemic, they're not even saying if we have one, they're just saying the next one. So
right,
they're saying it's going to be worse.
Yeah. So there's a lot of, I guess, negativity too with the media, but it is of concern, obviously, and I think that that's why we're here. We want to talk about things that can help people's lives, that can make a difference and can help with health. And health is just such an important thing. I mean, it's, such a high priority for me. I know it is for you. You've lost your health before with the motorcycle accident you went through, and you had, lots and lots of challenges getting back to where you are today. In fact, they told you don't even bother, like that's not even going to happen. But you were able.
Yeah, they wanted to cut my leg off right then and there. They said I'd never walk again without having it cut off and having a prosthetic. So, boy, did I fool them, huh? But, I don't look at that as a health challenge. That's just one of those things. It's an accident. When I was practicing my office, I always kind of, I don't know how am I going to say it, but when people would come in and they'd say, all of a sudden I just started getting this back pain. All of a sudden when I just started, and you'd hear people say, it just came on suddenly. Unless it's an accident, like I got run over when I was riding my motorcycle.
Right.
Unless it's an accident, there really is, or poisoning, but most health problems don't come on all of a sudden.
Yeah.
They come on slowly.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point to where people start to notice the symptoms. And then they recognize it as a disease, because it's not called a disease. It's not called a disease until after you have the symptoms.
Right.
And then they get worried about it. But if you look at the work that they've done on the progression for a symptom to develop on a chronic disease, you have to lose 50 to 60% of the function of that cell or that organ before you actually have symptoms.
Right.
So if you have high blood pressure, right, you've
Mm.
lost 50 to 60% of the function of that part of the cardiovascular system. And so it's not that you can just take something and expect it to come back tomorrow. It's not going to work that way.
No, that's right. And, you know, when we're talking about, you know, it didn't just come on straight away, it's been building up, but that's, you know, part of the aging process as well. And it's just really amazing how a lot of people don't connect illness with age, because the reality is the older you get, the more likely you are to suffer some sort of, you know, disease or illness. And so we need to kind of mitigate and try and look after ourselves in every way we can to slow the progression, to prevent anything that we can. And we can't say treat, prevent, cure any disease or illness, and that's not what we're claiming here, but we're talking about making lifestyle changes, being aware that things really, as you said, don't come on just overnight, that it is a slow progression, and just being aware of that. I'm still kind of amazed because, you know, my mum's having memory problems and she is just not accepting that it's part of aging. There is certainly things she can be doing. It'd be better if she'd accept it that it was, and then we can go, okay, great, these are the 10 things you can now do. But because there's just not that you know, facing or admitting that, you know, it is a problem and it is part of life, you know, it's avoidance.
But I'm going to say this with your mom. I'm
Yeah.
going to say this with your mom. You know, she's at that age where she's kind of in denial.
Yeah.
Right. She
Yeah.
knows that it's part of aging. I mean, and she understands that. But the problem with it is that if you really sat down and you started questioning her,
Oh yeah.
she's accepted that it is, and she doesn't think there's anything you can do about it. She just thinks that the aging diseases, the things that you have, she
Right.
thinks that well, it's just aging and there's nothing that I can do now. And she
Yeah, I
doesn't, you know, even if she doesn't understand the fact that she could have done some prevention stuff 20, 30 years ago, because
Yeah.
it does take that long. But I always try and tell people, in my clinic and now, I always try and tell people that it's never too late
No,
to start doing something, because
that's right.
you may not, you know, your mom is in her 70s, 80s,
Yeah, 78 now.
78. So at
Yeah.
78, she's not ever going to turn back the clock to make it so she's
No.
going to be 45.
No, right.
But what if she could just stop the ball
Yeah.
from rolling any further,
Exactly.
you know, or what if she could slow that progression down?
Yeah.
Or what if she could actually turn it backwards just a little bit? What if she could turn it
Yeah.
backwards 3 years, 4 years, you know?
Yeah, fantastic.
And that's the reality that we got to get people to start thinking about, is
Yeah.
that it's never too late. There's always time you can change. And
Yeah.
you know, and the big thing is that everybody wants to know, well, what's the latest, greatest anti-aging product?
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is, if you don't make the changes, like you said, to your lifestyle,
Yeah.
if you don't make those changes first, then I don't care how many age pill, you know, you
Yeah.
take,
Yeah.
it's probably not going to make that huge difference that you think it will.
Yeah, exactly. So that's great. So today's call, I talked about us sharing 10 reasons to take this pack, and I actually put together a little slide with some points. Did you see that? I'll just share my screen here and
Throw that up there.
Yeah,
Wow.
and we'll bring that up. And let me just move this out of the way here. So just gonna try and it's cut out just so for people. Oh, there we go. It's at the bottom. So these statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not designed to treat, prevent, or cure any disease or illness. And if you are unwell, please consult your healthcare practitioner. Sorry, I'm just trying to talk and move things out of the way on my screen at the same time. I've got cameras and lights. So yeah, great. We put 10 points together, 10 reasons that you would want to take these 3 products. And yeah, we've really got some great information here, and it helps give you greater insight into how nutrients really can help the body. So we'll start with the Encompass 360. So we've got there a product that has 13 vitamins. It has 9 essential minerals, 70 ionic trace minerals. It's got antioxidants and fulvic acid. So this is a great all-round multivitamin and mineral supplement. Sizzle Encompass 360. And Kurt, do you want to comment a few things on this product?
You bet. You know, Katie, a lot of times people tell me, they say, oh, I'm already taking a multivitamin. And really Encompass 360 is Sizzle's version of a multivitamin. It's a complete multivitamin that's made to, to supplement some of the other products that we have, like SpectraMax. It's supposed to be, go along really good with SpectraMax, which, again, we talked about it last week with 74 trace minerals and 40 antioxidants, and so it goes along with that. So many multivitamins are made as cheap as they possibly can, because when you go to the grocery store or the department store, or you go to Woolies, I guess you guys call it, and places like that, and you buy your multivitamin there, remember that they sell those products based on price. They don't sell them based on quality. And so when you buy a product that's based on price, when it's sold based on price pretty much alone, they look for the cheapest possible way. And I was just talking to somebody the other day. She asked me, she said, well, she was reading a study that said that there's some controversy with vitamin E. And I'm just going to use vitamin E as my example, because a multivitamin is going to have vitamin E in it. And your cheap products are going to use a synthetic version or a synthetic blend of vitamin E, and vitamin E only costs pennies to put into a product, and so the studies on a synthetic vitamin E show that it can trigger things to go wrong in your body, and it can actually cause heart disease, whereas the studies on natural blends of vitamin E show that it actually reverses heart disease. So the person who got a hold of me, she said, how can vitamin E do both? Well, the people who did the study on that did the study to show that it, they had a goal in mind. They wanted to show that taking vitamin E caused heart disease. So what did they do? They studied synthetic vitamin E. And then you had the people who were trying to show that vitamin E actually helped control heart disease and helped reverse it. And they did it on the natural vitamin E. So you can see there that it's all really what your goal in mind is. And so a multivitamin then is going to use the, if it's sold on price, it's going to use the cheapest form. But then the other thing is that if you take and you pack all that stuff into a formulation, of course, those pills are going to be a little bit harder to swallow, because they might be large, or they might try and put it into a pill rather than into a capsule. So it's going to have a rough surface to it. So then what they do is they coat it with a food grade of shellac. And Katie, you know what shellac is, right?
Yeah.
Shellac is the shells of bugs, insects.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you knew that, but they melt the shell of a bug, and then they coat the vitamin with that shell, and it makes it slippery, so it'll go down your throat. But they show in studies 97% of people don't have the pH, they don't have the enzyme to dissolve that insect shell, and so that vitamin basically goes in one end and comes out the other end without dissolving at all. So you can't use it, you can't utilize it. And a doctor that I met that formulated the most popular multivitamin in America, he formulated it for the company. I'm not going to mention the company because I don't want them to come after me, but he formulated it for him. And he told me that, when he put it together, they used really good stuff when they originally formulated it. And then what they did is they kept cheapening it and cheapening it to get it to the price point to where they felt they could sell it in the department stores and still make some profit. So they cheapened it and cheapened it. And finally, what they had was a product that, was pretty much worthless. And you might as well throw it away. It was safer to eat the bottle than it would be to take the vitamin. And so with Sizzle, we make a product that your body can utilize. It can use the 13 vitamins. It can use the 9 essential minerals, the 70 ionic trace minerals, and the proprietary blend. But it's also got fulvic acid. Katie, do you want to describe fulvic acid a little bit for people?
Yeah, so actually, I might hand this back to you, fulvic acid.
Well, all I was going to say was when you put it into a multivitamin, fulvic acid is a really good thing to have in your multivitamin because it's considered by a lot of scientists as a miracle molecule because what it does is it grabs the nutrients, the stuff that your body needs, the vitamins, the minerals, things like that. And what it does, it transports them across the cell membrane. Think of the cell membrane as a barrier, to protect yourself. And so it's selective. It's got selective permeability, which means that only certain things can get across that barrier. And so fulvic acid is able to transport those nutrients across the barrier into your body. And I won't say what else it does because we're going to be talking about Body Shield as well. But when it comes to a multivitamin, that's the important part of it.
Okay, great. Well, let's jump onto Body Shield because that does lead into Body Shield because, of course, Body Shield's loaded full of fulvic acid. And as you said, it does help with the nutrient transport. And not only does it do that, it helps with taking heavy metals out of the cells as well. And, it's considered a potent antioxidant scavenger. The seaweed extracts also help to support the thyroid and immune function in the body. So so you're getting some fulvic acid in the Encompass, but then you're getting that extra in the Body Shield. Now, for those people on the call who don't know, when they had the radiation, or it was a couple of times in history when there's been problems with radiation and exposure, nuclear fallout, didn't the government come in and start spraying fulvic acid over everything?
Yeah, they actually in Ukraine, when they had the big Chernobyl accident way back in 1984, they actually used a mineral that works alongside of fulvic acid, but they took that mineral and they took fulvic acid and they put it into like a cake, and they had the people of that region of the Ukraine actually eating that because it pulled that radiation out. They fed it to the cattle and the livestock. And then when they capped off that nuclear reactor in Chernobyl, they actually put fulvic acid and zeolite is the mineral, and they put that into the concrete along with the sand and the concrete and all that. And it capped it off so that it very little radiation leaked out. And then when Tom formulated Body Shield, it was because of the and I might not be saying this correctly, but Fukushima over in Japan, when they had the nuclear reactor problem over there after that hurricane and that tsunami, they needed to clean up the mess, and they used fulvic acid and they used zeolite. But one of the problems that they had over there is that by this time, a lot of people actually knew about fulvic acid, and there were some scrupulous companies out there that actually said they were giving people fulvic acid, and they were actually using something other than fulvic acid. And so you got to know who you're getting your products from, as well as know what the product is made out of. But fulvic acid, again, the one thing that I was going to say that it does in the cell, when I was talking about Encompass, it transports the nutrients across the cell membrane, but once it gets into the cell, it actually grabs the toxins inside the cell, and it transports the toxins out after it's transported the vitamins in. Pretty cool.
It's fantastic. So to summarize, it helps to detoxify, it helps with cellular cleansing, and it helps with nutrient uptake. So it's a really key nutrient to be taking and including as part of your regime. The Body Shield is really just such a great product. So,
Right.
that combined with the Encompass 360, now you're getting some really powerful results, synergistic results when you're combining the two together. And that
Yep.
brings us on.
I was just gonna
Go
say, and then combine that with Spectramax, the three
Yeah.
of them. Look at
Yeah.
that. You're getting fulvic acid in Spectramax, you're getting fulvic acid in Compass, and you're getting the fulvic acid in the Body Shield. So you're having some really good sources from multiple products to get that fulvic acid, and really, yeah, you really can't take too much because it's it's just organic seaweed, that's been decomposed for thousands, millions of years and created this substance. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's really great. And just back to your point before, you really want to trust who you're getting your products from. I'm always concerned. I mean, how many times do you see product recalls? Companies have, put out a product and it's contaminated with this toxic substance or another, and they have to do a recall. You really want to trust the manufacturer who's putting together the product. What's their facility like? Are they really quarantining ingredients? Are they properly checking for heavy metals and other contaminants? Because I certainly, you could easily be taking something and find out, you were getting contaminated because the manufacturer was sloppy or didn't actually test their ingredients properly. And,
That's right.
that's where reputation in manufacturing, is really important. So I just thought I'd throw that in there. And then that brings me to the next product, part of this healthy sizzle, healthy host pack it's called, but I've just called it healthy sizzle product pack. So the Sizzle Influence is just a really great product for immune support. And for those of you listening to the recording or listening to us live, notice how the word says influence. It's got the word FLU in there. So that was done purposely, obviously. So this is a broad spectrum antiviral product, and it supports the immune system. So Kurt, do you want to go through some of the ingredients there? I love the ingredients in this product. They're really well-rounded. They really complement each other. And if you go away and you study each of the ingredients in this product, you will see how important those ingredients are for immune function in the human body. So we want to talk about a few of those ingredients, Dr. Kurt.
You bet. I'll tell you, Katie, I didn't pay much attention to influence up until 2020. And all of a sudden, when we started hearing about, this crazy virus, and they were showing videos. I remember in the beginning, I know you were watching them too, in China, where people are just dropping. They were walking along the street and just dropping. And so, they had us all scared and nervous, and we should be at that time, because wow. And so we were looking for something that could help support a healthy immune system. And I'm not going to say any more than that. I'm just going to say that this really does it. You take a look at elderberries. Elderberries have an ingredient in them that works with your immune system to help protect you and provide some support for that immune system. It's interesting. The ingredient in elderberries is actually used it's actually used in the prescription, the drug that they use for, I forget the name of the drug, but the drug that they use for flu. Tamiflu. Yeah, the exact same ingredient is used in it because they found that it was so effective. So when I found that out, flu is caused by a virus, and it's actually a spike protein virus, corona style virus, just like we were worried about. And so I made sure that I started taking the Influence like right away, as soon as I started hearing about, and then you look at the lactoferrin, which helps with the immature neutrophils. They help destroy microorganisms, viruses, bacteria, things like that. And then curcumin. I mean, we've got that in so many of our products, because Tom Sr. and Tom Jr. really understood the importance of curcumin. And if you go back to you go back to way back. Well, we're almost at Christmas time, and we have to celebrate the reason for the season, which is that Jesus was born, and the three wise men showed up, and they had gold incense, and they had the gold and the myrrh, and what was the third one, Katie? I'm having a blank, but
That's okay. Was it silver? I'm taking a guess.
no, it wasn't silver, gold. But anyhow, they're saying that the gold, because the other two actually weren't precious metals, they were herbs. So so a lot of scientists now are speculating that the gold was actually turmeric or curcumin, because because it was so important, because it's a gold color, right? And they're saying that that's what you would have brought to the birth of a baby, is you would have brought why would you have brought gold? Why would you have brought a precious metal? That's unnecessary. And so they're saying the three wise men actually brought turmeric or curcumin because of its ability to boost the immune system and help with so many things. But curcumin activates the T cells, the B cells, the natural killer cells, the macrophages, which are like the Pac-Man of your immune system, that goes out and grabs all this cellular debris and all this damaged cells and pulls them out of the body. And then star anise is a herb that has shikimic acid in it. And shikimic acid, I never really understood shikimic acid until I started reading about influence. And shikimic acid, again, is a great thing, because it helps to kind of kill those viruses, and just so amazing. And then we've got resveratrol. And again, if you listen to the talk that we did on the triangle of life, when we talked about that, resveratrol has so many amazing properties as far as the cardiovascular system. But I think the reason that Tom put it into this formulation was because, when your body's bombarded with viruses and bacteria and all those different things, that creates stress on the cells. And when your cells get stressed, the DNA gets damaged, and resveratrol activates, or it supports the sirtuin genes. And the sirtuin genes, of course, are the genes in your body that repair damaged DNA. Again, DNA gets damaged. The mitochondrial DNA gets damaged first. And you look at some of these viruses, where do they go? What do they target? They target the mitochondria, because viruses they're trying to get energy from you. They're trying to steal your energy. So why not go right to your nuclear power plant, the mitochondria? And so resveratrol helps with that, and it works with that. And then we look at the quercetin.
Yeah, that's a really interesting one, because that's been really popular. A lot of people have been talking about that ingredient.
Yeah, quercetin. I don't just take the sizzle product. I don't just take the influence. I take and I don't, and it's in our Stemolytic product too, but we'll talk about that at a later date. But quercetin, they've done a lot of studies on it in the last 3 years, and obviously, you know why they've done the studies on it if it's been done in the last 3 years. I don't have to mention what virus was dropped upon us, but they studied hundreds of different natural compounds to see which ones would actually affect this virus. And of the hundreds of compounds that they tested, they found there was around 20. It was actually less than 20, but they found that there's around 20 of them that actually had some sort of an impact. And of the 20, quercetin was the most powerful. It actually was found to help destroy this spike protein, this coronavirus. And you can do the studies. You can go online, just type in the word quercetin, quercetin, and then just put PubMed, and then put COVID-19. And all I have to say is that, you go look at the studies on it. It's not studies on our product. We can't make any medical claims like Katie said. And if you look at the bottom of the slide, on the bottom of the slide, it says we can't make any medical claims, but you can go look up the studies that were there.
Yeah.
And it's just an amazing product for that. And I can't go on enough about it. And then of course, zinc, I learned about zinc lozenges. I started using zinc lozenges in my practice this time of year, because up here in North America where we are, Katie, it's winter, and people start staying indoors a lot more. And when they stay indoors a lot more, somebody comes in, they got the sniffles, they cough and sneeze, and it stays in the building, and all of a sudden everybody gets sick. All your kids get sick. The local high school had 660 kids that were out this last week because they got back from our holiday weekend, and 660 kids got sick. Well,
Wow.
because Thanksgiving is during the cold and flu season, and so we see a lot of places advertising their vitamin C and zinc lozenges because of that. And then of course we get to selenium. Selenium is a great it's a great thing for anti-aging. I first learned about it really a lot with anti-aging. Selenium is needed with all your cells. If you don't have any selenium, you're not going to be alive for very long. You don't need a lot of it, but you do need some of it. And it increases the activity of the natural killer cells, and that in turn boosts your immune system.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, what a great product.
It is. And if you went out to try and buy each of these individual ingredients, you will be paying a tremendous amount more than what you would for this product. I mean, this is a really value-packed product with these individual ingredients that have been carefully picked out that really support the immune system. And you can always ask your doctor, which I just think is a great idea, to test your nutrient levels. And if he won't test your levels like, your vitamin D or your zinc, your selenium, you can actually order those online yourself. I don't know, in America, I'm sure, yeah, you can. There's more stuff in America, but, I can send you a link if you want to order that kind of thing for yourself, just to see where your levels are at. It's really important because these are important nutrients for immune function. So if you're not getting enough of them in your diet, which, look, the majority of us struggle to do that, to be honest, is my opinion, then you need to be, filling those gaps with a supplement. Of course, there are instances where you might have certain genetic disposition where you may absorb more or less of a nutrient, so that needs to be taken into consideration. But this is really about looking after yourself, and nobody's more important in the world to you than you, so taking care of your own health is just really critical in today's day and age, more so than ever.
It sure is. I always tell people, if you aren't going to worry about yourself, why would anybody else worry about you?
Yeah, so I'm just going to jump. We've got a couple of testimonials here. So we've got one here from Christy. She was using the Influence. So she said she took 2 the first day and 1 the second day, and she felt her sinus infection coming on, and never fully happened. And she felt the congestion was gone the next day. So, this is where, we can't make any claims, but, people notice a difference when they're taking the products, and that's why we love them so much. We've got another great testimonial from someone who had basically, she was breastfeeding, and that's, if you are breastfeeding, you do need to consult your doctor, healthcare provider, before taking any supplements. But she started taking the Body Shield and the Encompass, and she noticed an improvement from herself as well, and her baby was improving, and obviously filling some nutritional gaps in the diet, just again really important.
Yeah. And like Katie said, if you have any health problems, we have to say this, and I mean it. If you have any health problems, contact your healthcare provider. Don't take our word for it. We're not your doctor. I am a doctor, but I'm not your doctor. And you want to contact your healthcare provider, and you want to find out, hey, can I do this?
Absolutely.
Or I think better yet, ask them reasons why they shouldn't be doing it. Because they can't recommend, they can't say, hey, take that, because it's against kind of their protocol or whatever. But if you ask them the question, is there any reason why I shouldn't be taking these products, and make them give you the reason. Always question them. If they say no, if they just say no, then you say why or why not. Question them.
And I think also that's where a naturopath can come into play. They can support patients in that regard. So
Yep.
yeah, it is really important to do that. So hopefully this gives you some information, and again, like what you said at the start of the call, Dr. Kurt, it's really important that people look at their lifestyle. That's more important than anything, because if you're doing all the wrong things and then taking a tablet and expecting it's just going to fix everything, it doesn't really work like that.
That's right. So Katie, what a great call again. It's important for people to learn about these things, and get out there and people say, oh, I can't sell anything. Boy, I tell you what, is this selling when you just tell people, listen to this video, we've got some great products, you can get a discount on it if you buy it right now before the holidays, and you get that super cool beanie to wear in your head, keep your head warm.
So for those 3 products, it's 104, plus you get the beanie. So you've got a really good saving there with bundling the products, and, really good support for your health, and just a great pack.
Bingo. All right. Have a great weekend, everyone. Katie, thanks for being on. To all of you that are listening to the call here, all of you that are online listening on Facebook, thanks for being with us. And, we'll be back next Friday, and we'll be back. Christmas week, we're not going to have a call, Katie.
I know.
That's
right.
We'll skip Christmas week and we'll skip New Year's. So we've got one more call this year.
Yeah. One more
call. And so next week, Katie, we've been talking a lot about the immune system. We've been talking a lot about the products and things like that. Maybe we should talk about the effects of stress and some things that you can do, because the holidays can be stressful for a lot of people.
Definitely.
Yeah. So let's talk about that next week. So folks, if you want to invite some people to find out what they can do to help kind of keep their body in check and keep things so that, you don't have any hiccups, you don't have any backfires, and, I think it's important.
Great. All right. Well, have a great week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.